All right, all right. This is DJ Lady Jock from Music My Way on 88.1 KDHX. And I have with me, well, not with me, but I have with me the Baylor Project featuring Gene Baylor and Marcus Baylor. How y'all doing?
We are good. We are
Yes, we
good.
are good. We are good.
How
Yes.
y'all doing?
Yes.
You know, we keeping it safe up here. We doing good. We keeping it
Good.
safe. We just waiting
Yep.
on y'all to come here.
Oh, we're looking
He
forward.
Wiz be hipping me on to some stuff. I mean, I'm into jazz, but he be hipping me on to some deeper stuff. And I'm just like, see, that's why he's my number one brother. Cause I'm like,
I
you
know
can
that's
never
right.
go wrong with him with music. He's
Yes.
the
Yes.
legend of the music. I can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. Well,
Yes.
we're gonna start it off like this, real simple, because it's kind of like for both of you all, so y'all could just explain. So, kind of heard Marcus, you from St. Louis, Missouri, born and raised. You want to tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm born and raised from the Lou. I graduated from McClure High School. My family initially, when I was born, we I was born in the city of St. Louis where we used to live on Hebert back in the day, which my family had a church on 2601 North Prairie. My dad was a pastor, so that's where I grew up playing music and everything. And but then later on, I think maybe around 4 or 5 or something, we moved out to Ferguson, and that's when it was, the suburbs, which was a whole thing. You know how it is at home. We ain't gonna get into all that, but it just in terms of man, that was a rich legacy and history. Like looking at your back wall right now is just bringing back memories. Like I feel like right now I'm downstairs at my mom's house with the Michael Jackson picture, New Edition, and just Ebony magazine, just all at the Jackson. So it's just like St. Louis, man. That's home. I mean, that's who raised me. That's where I learned. That's where I learned so many things. I mean, just about life, family, friendship. When I met my wife, hey, fish and spaghetti. There's nothing like St. Louis fish and spaghetti. There's nothing like St. Louis Chinese food. Hey, we're Southerners. What I realized is that I just thought it was a natural way of life until I moved to the East Coast. But hey, we from our folks from Mississippi, just probably yours, probably from Mississippi, Alabama,
Yep.
Memphis. That's the South to me. When I moved up east, North Carolina, South Carolina is the South for them. So when people hear me speak, they say, "Man, you from North Carolina, South Carolina?" I'll be like, "No, I'm from the Lou." Or they give me New Orleans, but
Okay.
St. Louis is home. And shout out to my family once again. They have a church called Faith Miracle Temple, which is now out. Where is that at? Off. Is it 270?
I think
Not far from
270.
367, going towards Edwardsville. But yeah,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
that's my brother. My mom and dad founded the church years ago. And now my brother is the pastor,
Wow.
Bishop Larry
Okay.
Baylor. Yep. So yeah, so
Okay.
that's yep. And
You
Marlon Baylor. Yep.
I
So yeah,
yeah.
so that's St.
Okay.
Louis in a nutshell. I've been kept the whole interview St. Louis and not discussed nothing. But hey babe, we talking to somebody from the Lou. You got to know what that means.
It's all good.
St.
Yes.
Louis. Yes, sir.
Miles Davis. Okay, last thing. Shout out to Russell Gunn, Montez
That's my
Coleman.
homie. That's my
So
homie.
yeah, so all that. Hey, that's all the Lou. That's all family. Lincoln,
Yeah,
Lincoln
we went
High
to school
School.
together. Yep, that's where I
Hold on, you
graduated
went to
from.
school with Russell?
I went to school with Russell, junior high school and senior high school.
Ah, so you probably knew Terry on too.
That's my
Terry on Davis.
cousin.
Oh, you came to the King family?
Yes, my
Boy,
dad.
y'all
And
family.
look,
That's
hold
family to
up.
me.
My daddy is Dr. Jockenstein, Roderick Gerald King.
God, let me tell y'all something. Y'all family, the King family, that's
It's,
two. That's
it's
two
limitless.
family. And so Carlos, I know we all away,
Carlos
but
was just here maybe some months ago. Carlos stay in New York.
yeah, and we used to stay together for a while
Wow. This
in New York. Yeah. So our families. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. So we
yeah.
all family. And prayers out to the King family during this time. And
Thank you.
yeah,
Appreciate it.
just
Appreciate it.
legendary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Legendary family. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Miss Jane, I'm about to ask you the same question. Where are you was born and raised and grew up at?
Well, it's not as nearly as exciting as as the Lou fish and spaghetti. That's all good. That's all love though. I'm from New Jersey, grew up in
Okay.
Southern Jersey, close to Philadelphia.
Okay.
And so my mom's from Philly, my dad's from South Carolina. So I'm a Jersey girl and lived most of my life here. And lived a little bit in New York, but I went to Temple in Philadelphia, and that's when I kind of started to spread my wings and kind of get outside of my little teeny weeny suburban town where I grew up, and then lived in New York for a little bit, and then came back
Okay.
down here, and that's where we are now, in southern New Jersey. Yeah.
So, Marcus, how do you get into music?
Oh wow. Well, I got into music through, my family church, Faith Miracle Temple. That's where it all started. I
Mhm.
started playing at the age of 2 as a kid, and my parents recognized there was something there, which was a gift from God. And I was a church drummer at 5 years old. And,
Wow.
and from there, I, again started, playing in school bands and in high school. And then once I got to high school, I went to my first jazz club, which was called back in the day the Uptown. I don't know if y'all remember that. That's like next door to the bistro, but it used to be called the Uptown back in the day. So yeah, right around the corner from the Fox. So yeah, so that's yeah. So that I can go on and on, but yeah, so that's how I started. Hmm.
Okay. And Miss Jane, same thing.
Well, you got to tell them about one of your mentors, your earliest mentors in jazz.
Uh-oh.
Oh yes, I'm
Played a
sorry.
huge role.
Yes, I didn't even get because So once throughout high school, so my junior year, so what's crazy is my junior year of when I was in high school, I ended up meeting Danny Campbell. I don't know if you met him yet, trumpeter in St. Louis. He took me to my first jazz club.
Okay.
And we will always get excited because they'd be like, man, Russell is coming back from New York, coming in town. He's going to come down to the jam session. And, that was a whole thing. But there was a mentor of all of ours named by the name of Richard Henderson, who is the godfather to so many of us, who he had an organization called Crusaders for Jazz, in which he mentored myself, Montez Coleman. There's
That's my homie.
Emmanuel Hurl. I don't know if you met him.
Mm-mm.
Keon Hurl. Well, Emmanuel plays drums with Gregory Porter, St. Louis. Known artist named Gregory Porter.
Yeah.
And Keon is from St. Louis, you name it. I think he probably played with Jay-Z, Maxwell. He a trumpeter. And he's Richard Henderson mentored us. I mean, it's so many. I can go on and on. I mean, it's just Kimberly Thompson, that's a great jazz musician that played drums with Beyonce. So many of us, I can just rumble off so many great musicians from St. Louis that's doing great things. But a lot of us were influenced by Richard Henderson, that introduced us to Wynton Marsalis when he came to town, who knew everybody from New York. Everybody would go to his house. He lived right on Lee Street in the St. Louis City area. And I would go sit over there at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 in the morning, just listening to records. And he would educate me on the music. So shout out to Richard Henderson. I'm who I am and where I'm at today because of his major influence on my life.
Wow. That's deep.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was a huge blessing. I still got records he made for me to listen to that I need to check out. So he was just a teacher, and raised up so many people. So for me, I got into jazz. I know nothing about jazz until I went to college, and I went to school. I also come from a church background. My father was a pastor here, and um, growing up in like in the 80s, 70s, 80s, you didn't really know. There was no connection unless you maybe lived in New York or LA. There was really no connection to the industry. So it was like you were saying, and you'd love to sing, but all right, well, I don't know how I'm going to do that for a living. And I went to school on an athletic scholarship, and
Wow.
then I had to pick a major finally to
Hold on, but you
graduate.
got nobody in St. Louis know what that athletic scholarship is.
That's
But
why I
tell
skipped
them,
over it.
see if you
I
ever
know what
heard
it
this.
is. I know what it is.
You know what I mean?
He
The,
knows, but I don't.
I know what it is.
Do tell.
Lacrosse.
Yes. It was
I hope it's
lacrosse.
one of my favorites. I'm
It's
gonna wait.
It's
from
lacrosse. You ever heard of lacrosse?
It's definitely not one of your
Really?
favorites.
Right. That's
Wow, really? Nah, it ain't one of
right.
my favorites, but I heard of it.
I'm like,
Jim Brown played
yes.
lacrosse.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And,
Wow.
it helped him with football. But I did. I went at first it was field hockey and then it switched to lacrosse. And so that tells you about the town that I grew up in. But I had to pick a major and my parents was like, you should do music. So I went to the school of music, the Esther Boyd College of Music, and I chose between classical and jazz. And I said, jazz sounds like a lot of fun. So I don't know about it, but hey, I need a major. I like to sing. Let's do that. And that's how I made the decision. But it worked out because I fell in love with the music. It was just, I don't know, it's weird because I just fell in love with it. It felt like home, even though I didn't grow up listening to it at all. So that's how I was introduced to jazz. And then went into R&B, of course, because I loved R&B through Zhané and Motown and all that. But then circle back around because I always wanted to come back to it. And that worked out, with Marcus, and that's when the Baylor Project was born. So it was just, it was a way to be able to really just fully express yourself in singing and songwriting and performing and all that, with a lot less boundaries than popular music. So I just fell in love with it. I did.
Marcus, how did you hook up with the jazz group, the Yellowjackets?
Oh, wow. Wow, that's a good question. Well, at the time, I think I started off, I used to tour with an artist named Cassandra Wilson. And then from her, I started playing with Kenny Garrett. And then after that, I think during the time I got recommended I endorsed Yamaha drums. But the crazy thing about that is that, I'm a Christian person, whatever. So what was crazy was at that time my life was, I needed to make some changes in my life. And I remember during that time being at church and the minister, actually, my brother said, man, God has shown me that he's going to bless you like never before. And I never even thought about it, like that. And so months passed. I was fasting along with the family church back home in St. Louis. And man, I received a phone call out of nowhere from the guys to make some gigs, not the audition, but to make some gigs. And that was crazy because I never met them before. They was based more so. One of the musicians was based on the East Coast, but the rest of the guys are on the West Coast. And so my first gig I did was at Berklee School of Music, and that took me through being in the band for 10 years.
How did you guys hook up and how did y'all come up with the name, the Baylor Project? This is probably gonna
Well,
be interesting.
so okay, it being in New York, I had to do a showcase. ASCAP was putting on a showcase at the time, and it was for up and coming songwriters and producers. So I was a part of it, and performing like original songs, right? So I needed a band, and a mutual friend referred me to Marcus. He was like, "Oh yeah, you need to call Marcus. You need to call Coco. I just ran into him." I'm like, "All right." So I hit him up and I was like, introduce myself, whatever. And so he was like, "All right, cool." And the funny thing is, well, I ain't gonna tell you everything he said, but he was about to cancel on me and like get a sub, but he didn't.
No, don't be making me sound like
And
I'm flaky or something.
No, you weren't flaky. You didn't feel like. I'm trying to figure out a nice way to say this. Sometimes singers can get on musicians' nerves. I'll put it like that.
There you go. That's
If you
good.
talk to any musician, they'll be like, sometimes they get on your nerves. And so he was like, "Oh, I don't know if she's gonna be whatever." But he did a gig and he did such a great job. And that's when we met to this was like, no, we had email, but I was going to be in New York and I was like, "Oh, let's meet up. I can give you," I think it was a CD that I made of songs or something. And so we met in front of the Blue Note, and he told me a while later, he was like, yeah, I had a little crush on you back in the day. I had a little crush on you. But he didn't tell me that day. But let me tell you why I liked him. But he was playing me, but I'm gonna tell you what. I'm standing there in front of Blue Note and I'm waiting for him, right? And like different musicians would walk past and I would wonder if that's him because I didn't know what he looked like. So they would just keep walking. So I'm like, all right, that's not him. Then I looked down the street and there was his brother, his real clean cut brother coming up. And he happened to go in his pocket, right? And give some spare change to this homeless guy. So I was like, oh, that was real nice. Well, he keeps walking and he walks up to me and that turns out to be him. I'm like, oh man, brother got a good heart. That is the day we met. I ain't even gonna tell you about our first date. Well, maybe that's a real good one. But that's how we met and he did the showcase with me and then, we stayed in contact after that. But since we're talking about it, I might as well tell it to you because that's a funny one. So we decide, okay, we're gonna go out, he's gonna take me out or whatever. And, we're just getting to know each other. We don't really know each other. So up on 6th Avenue, there's, Radio City Music Hall, it's a big venue there. And there's a restaurant like 2 streets down, Houston's. So he said, and I like to eat and he's like music head. I mean, I love music, but if I have to choose between music and food, I might choose food. So we decide we're going to go to Houston's at like 6 o'clock or whatever. And then the show starts 8 o'clock. It was Erykah Badu. Bilal was opening up for her and maybe, I don't know if there's another artist. So we get to Houston's like a little late. Well, he didn't call the restaurant to see if you need reservations or what the time was like. It was on the weekend. And so it was real crowded and I don't think they took reservations. So then it was like, oh, you got to wait, next seat 45 minutes. It was like, oh man. And then we got there a little late. So it was like the concert's going to be starting by then 45 minutes. So, lucky for him, I'm not real. I'm a cheap date. I'm pretty easy to please. Just feed me. Well,
man,
we decided to go across the street and I'm like, yo, I'm hungry. I ain't going nowhere hungry. Let's go to the McDonald's, get a little something, and then we'll, So by that time, it's like 7:30, 7:40, right? So we go to McDonald's. I get my little cheeseburger fries, we sit down. I'm taking my time, okay? Because I'm going to eat my food in peace. I mean, I'm putting the fries inside of the sandwich, right? Inside of the cheeseburger. And he's just looking kind of crazy. And I'm thinking, oh, he might feel bad because he wanted to take me out to a nice restaurant. Long time later, I found out that's not why he was looking crazy. He was looking crazy because I was eating too slow and he wants to see the first beat of the concert. He wants to see the downbeat, like the first note, right? Well, but then he should have made proper reservations, right? He should have figured that out. But anyway, I'm eating, I'm just eating, and I'm like, little extra ketchup, let me dip this and that. So finally, I'm done and we're rushing up to the spot. So we get up to the spot, right? And he's mad because now when I go in, I'm going to go to the restroom before I go sit down because I'm finna enjoy me a whole concert. So I'm just going to be comfortable with it, right? So he's, oh my God. Oh man, it's one of the big venues where you got to go downstairs 2 levels and walk back up, whatever. So finally, we get to our seat. Bilal is on stage going in, he's singing Soul Sister Soul.
One of my favorites.
Yes, right. Boom, 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 boom.
Yes.
And that's my college classmate.
Right.
Wow.
So we're sitting here chilling. Okay. 5 minutes. One of the people, the little ushers, comes up with a little flashlight. He's like, excuse me, can I see your ticket? We're like, oh, yeah, here you go. He's like, He looks at it, he's like, I'm gonna have to ask you to come with me. We're like, why we gotta go somewhere? And we go back to the ticket counter. Don't you know this nigga?
No, we didn't go back to the ticket counter.
That's right. We were supposed to. The usher told us to go back to the ticket counter, but we did not go back to the ticket counter. You know why? This Negro bought bootleg tickets. All we heard was, you must be my soul.
Hey, but the story ain't over though. So the St. Louis hustle kicked it, because you got to know, when you would go to the baseball game in St. Louis, right, in concerts, you walk up, well, what they call it, scalpel tickets?
Yes.
Yeah. You can buy some tickets. Okay, cool. You going into the game.
Yeah.
Yo, I did that in New York. And so that's what I did. I did the reverse psychology on the dude. So when I saw him, I happened to see him when we walked outside the venue. I said, man, look here. Man, these tickets are not real. And man, they looking for you. And the dude was like, oh man, for real? Here, man, here's your money back. Got our money back and we was good.
And that's how the date ended.
That's how it ended.
Aw.
McDonald's and bootleg tickets.
Man, I like y'all. Y'all dope. I like that. Them stories. Woo. And then you went to McDonald's. I mean, I would have rather went to Wendy's, but hey, I take McDonald's, but hey, man, I love y'all. So Miss Jean, do you, when y'all performing together, do you put in some of the Zhané hits, or you just leave that alone?
No. It's two different formats. It would be
The Baylor
really
Project got
strange
their own hits. No, I'm just
right.
You know, I just had to ask. I
know
know
people heard it.
if she gonna sneak it in or something.
And sneaking it right acoustic.
We went platinum
Mr.
within
DJ.
our family.
Ooh, that'd be
Platinum within
dope.
our family.
That'd be dope if she says you do it acoustic.
Right. I don't even know how that would sound. You're like, what?
Me neither,
You-
but it
you
probably
need
was,
that beat.
but you know, but some of those slower songs you probably can.
Right. Probably could.
Probably
Yeah.
But
could.
yeah, I just kind of decided to do a clean slate, start a clean slate with the Baylor Project. Oh, that's right. You asked us how the name came about because
Yeah.
Marcus had an idea. We had done like 2 independent projects with like him producing and me as the front person, as the artist under my name, Gene Baylor. And he's like, I like producing. I love that, but I love playing the drums. That's my favorite thing. And he just had he was trying to figure out something that we could do to be like just fully creative. And he was like, he takes these anytime he's in the shower for more than 10 minutes, I know he's going to come out with something. And he came out with, oh, I got it. He was there for like 20 minutes, using up all the hot water, right? And he comes up, he's like, we're gonna have a band. It's called the Baylor Project. And it's like, it's gonna be featuring me on drums and you on vocals, but it's gonna be a band concept and it's gonna be jazz. That way we can really like, you can get back to jazz like you wanted to. We can be fully creative and not like have to feel like, oh, the song has gotta have a hook or it's gotta have this, that kind. Not that there's not song structure, but there's proper song structure in jazz music, but it's just because it's so based on improvisation, that it's just way more freedom of, kind of bringing in your influences and kind of crafting your sound, but obviously coming out of, because it's also very based in lineage and legacy. So it's not like you just throw any old thing in jazz. It's like, you're still coming out of the lineage and legacy of the music. But it's just more open because because it's improvisational. So you're looking to kind of get open. So he came up with that. And I honestly, I thought it was a dumb idea. I was like, that don't even make no sense. Because I was like, it's gonna be a drummer and a singer on stage. What are we gonna be doing? Like,
right.
No,
But now you got a band, so that's dope.
Right, got a whole band.
Old band. So, and also, if y'all haven't checked out Generations, go ahead and check out. It's the new record that just came out, and we've been blessed to be. Our first album was Grammy nominated for Best Jazz Vocal Album and Best Traditional R&B Performance. And then we was just nominated this past year. Or was it last year? Was it this year? No, this year. For Best Traditional R&B Performance for a single we had called Sit On Down. And so we do everything independently on our own label. We spend all of Gene's money. And, hey, come check us out on our website. And if all the Lou, we want to see you there. And it's going to be a good time.
I don't even know what you did it again, but I'm gonna improvise some stuff, because I got a lot of the answers of the questions that I had. So if you don't know about the Baylor Project, something wrong. But when we get done with you, you will know who they are and you will go see them and you will purchase their music. I'm just saying. I just want to say hello, hello, and hello. St. Louis's own Marcus Baylor and his lovely wife, Jean Baylor. How are you doing?
Oh, we
We are
are
well. We are
good.
excited to be talking to. First of all, I'm excited to be talking to folk from my hometown, which feels like family. To hear my accent, to hear, I can tell that there's fish and spaghetti just happened within the past month in y'all diet. And there has been within the past 3 or 4 months some Chinese food, crab rangoon, St. Paul sandwich, I'm sure has hit your diet within the past 3 or 4 months, in
I'm
which I'm living it through y'all.
I'm gonna just say fish is my favorite dish, but without the Baylor Project, it's just a wish.
Oh.
That's what we
I
call
love it.
freestyling.
Okay, right.
Yes.
What is your approach to jazz?
Mm, that's a great that's that's a great
Mm.
question. You know, it's like, so really what you're really asking the question and for us to explain is really centered around our album Generations, believe it or not. And I'm gonna let Jean kick that off, and then I'm gonna come and behind her.
Yes. So that's such a good question. Our approach to jazz is obviously connected, of course, to call it jazz, I think it has to be connected to the roots and the lineage and legacy of jazz coming through the blues and all the eras of jazz, but also to if it's coming from you authentically and you are creating a sound as an artist, I think it has to inhabit your own personal individual influences as well. And for us, that's a lot of different things. It's church, and it's soul, R&B, it's hip hop, it's all the things that are pieces of us and our musical influences and our creative fabric that we kind of bring and merge into jazz as one sound. So, and it connects directly to the album Generations, because Generations is really a cultural anthology that explores everyday lived experiences of love and faith, family, community. It's in many ways it's all of these things of life told through the Black American experience. And so the sound, there's different musical sounds. You know, you're going to hear some of the blues, you're going to hear some rhythm and blues, some soul. You're going to hear some R&B vibes. You're going to hear some church sounds in there. You're going to hear all these different things kind of, it's like the album is like a little melting pot of all this Black music and culture. You're going to hear it in some of the lyrics, some of the lyrical references. So it's a long-winded way of answering your question, but
Yeah.
I'd say that that's our sound in
Yeah.
jazz.
And it's like, I mean, and it's music that was born, it's music that comes from our community. So when you look at it like that, I guess for me, we don't necessarily think genres when we create music. Like, like Jean said, hip hop, gospel, soul, R&B. It's, it's almost like when you look at seasonings. You don't necessarily, when you cooking up something, you don't necessarily think about, let me just take this one seasoning and it's going to make the dish. It's all of it together. And that's what the Black experience and Black music is lineage, is legacy, is history. It's our folks coming from Mississippi, and we moved to, St. Louis, then moved to Ferguson. I mean, it's a journey. That's what it really is. And then we think about family, love, relationships. I mean, all that is jazz music to me, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Um, we didn't really want to rush the process, because even when we got to what we thought was the last song, here comes Marcus with another song, and I was like, no.
But you got to know where that song came from.
Yeah, it was full circle.
This gonna help with our sister DJ Lady Jock.
Yes.
So I was watching this teen Netflix series, and this song came on. I'm like, yo, hey, Mr. DJ is in this show. It's like, yo, this joint is knocking. But then I heard this other voice. I was like, no, that's not Zhané. That's the original that Gene told me about. What's the composer name?
Michael Wyckoff.
Michael Wyckoff, a brother from the 70s. I was like, this brother is amazing. And so I went and started listening to his records immediately. And I got to the end of one of the songs, one of the songs on the album. And it was called Love Makes Me Sing. And I couldn't get it out my head. I was like, yo, if we flip this with an Ahmed Jamal Porciani groove, ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, yo, if we do that, and I'm hearing this joint, man, if we do this with a string arrangement, I'm telling you, it's going to set it off. And I couldn't get it out my head. And I played it for Jean. She was like, no, babe, we are done. Like, and next day, she couldn't stop singing it. There it is. So we was like, yo, I think that was one of the last songs in the last session that we recorded. And so to answer your question, yeah, it was, you continue, Gene, if I cut into.
No, that was good. That was it. That was it.
Yeah. So
just knowing when it was done, having that feeling of completion.
Mm-hmm. You know when it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I thought I knew what it was done.
Yeah. And you know what? I will add to this. Like, it sounds good, but when we got on this record, we got on each other's nerves. Because I'm gonna tell you, being married, like, it's almost like you live the album generations. Mm-hmm. Like when you saw your parents as a kid when they was getting on each other's nerves, it was like, this is like, I tell people this: a pandemic argument inside of a house of married folk is totally different than the argument before the pandemic. I don't know, maybe because you can't go nowhere.
That's it.
Or whatever it is. Or it's just like, are you seeing each other every day? But we got on each other's nerves because when you were working on albums, it's like it probably ain't healthy to live in that space for too long, because it's like for us, it was like two or 3 years of like focus intense. And like when we listening to mixes, and because we produce our own records and we at home, we saying we need to add this or add that. Like now is that I'm able to actually listen to the album for enjoyment purposes. Because it was like this one, the last one, we had time to plan everything out. But Gene was like, hey, babe, we should drop the album. We got to drop the album this year. And I'm like, oh, babe, I need a break. I wanted to drop it next year. But blessing to God that we came out with it this year, because the response has been amazing. I think, what was it? NPR rated it as one of the best albums of 2021 so far. And I'm just like, wow. And we're number 3 on the jazz radio charts, and we'll see what thus saith the Lord this week. But in any case, we're excited and happy about what is taking place. And so, yeah, it's a labor of love. I mean, it's your purpose. So, so it's, yeah.
I just want you to know that I got my copy.
Come on now.
What?
No, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna prove to you.
I gotta get a copy now.
We
got you.
Yes.
Because I'm gonna throw a couple of songs at you and tell you what I felt when I listened to them. Okay. Striving. Start with Striving. It was like a modern day Ray Charles meets a young Aretha Franklin.
Yes,
This is first reaction.
G.Wiz for the win. G.Wiz for the. Thank you. That's
G.Wiz for the win.
Is nice. It's nice. 2 days in a row I listened to the album.
Yeah.
I was trying to feel what was going on. So that's one I like.
Oh man.
Happy. to be with you. I feel like when I'm listening to that, you know the Sugar Shack picture, Marvin Gaye, I Want You album.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like I'm sitting in that lounge or that room or that whatever that is, that shack, and this music is playing. That's what I'm seeing when I hear that.
Yes!
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here-
Yes.
Oh
Okay.
man, I want
Now.
mines now.
Okay. Now.
That's the vibe.
Shoot.
Nailed it.
This is
here-
so good.
This is now walk on by. Oh, that's dope. That's just dope. Because it threw me off because I'm trying to get out Isaac Hayes out of my head. I'm trying to get Sybil out of my head. And neither one of them came in my head. When I start listening, it's like, okay, this because it's like soul and gospel mixed together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Um
Yes. Oh, this is too good.
I'm on the right track.
What?
Yeah.
What? We need you to curate the whole album.
No.
Right.
Now, Black Boy. Okay. If you listen to it, you get an image of George Floyd because there was something you said. I'm trying to remember the lyric, but there's something couldn't breathe or on my neck, something like that. But your vocals, Gene, you hear pain in your vocals. Marcus, there's and the drums, especially at the end, it's like turmoil in the drums. So you kind of put all of that together, and then you can understand the song Black Boy. That's what I got from it.
Yes, yes. That song was written, I think it was recorded before 2020, which is so crazy. It was recorded, I think, in 2019.
2018.
2018 it was recorded in?
December 21st.
Oh, that was the first session. That's right.
Mm.
And the lyric that you're talking about, I think, is the fourth verse. Black boy, how can you breathe under the weight of your reality?
That's it.
Black boy, will you survive the hand that chooses if you live or die? That was the verse. And it was written before George Floyd.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
That's,
it was recorded in end of 2018.
That's crazy because I'm thinking on another level because I even went so far as to, okay, the song is 8 minutes and 43 seconds.
Oh my God.
George Floyd is 8:46.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was trying, and that's why I was kind of thinking this, but you just said the song was written before that happened.
It was. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I never even noticed that.
Yeah.
Well, you cold.
Thank you.
Why he the Wiz?
Right. I'm like, I didn't even know it. I didn't even know. Never noticed it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Look
gosh.
at Marcus.
Well, I'm completely
Wow,
creeped
I'm done.
out now. I'm like, you just blew my mind. Wow.
No,
Gotta get this CD.
it's dope. You know.
Wow. That just really speaks to the fact that while that was the event, the moment that, you know, the world kind of took notice to police brutality as it relates to Black Americans and Black men and boys, we know that, you know, it's been centuries.
Yes,
you know.
yes.
So yeah, it just speaks to that was written before that.
Wow.
And yeah.
All
And
right.
2020 was written in 2018 or 2019.
Yeah.
Marcus probably remember, but it was before, like we had no idea 2020 was gonna be crazy like that.
Yeah.
But it just kind of came out because it was already very present. So yeah, it's part of our story, you know. And I think like really any art form worth salt, it should be, because art in and of itself is the expression of human life, basically. And these are the songs that just came out. it was the concept came first and then the songs. And the concept was Marcus and I at a friend's house, and it was 6 couples, and we were the youngest couple, and there was an older couple, and then a couple that's a little older, and there was generations at the table, and they were telling us stories about when they were young, and they had a ice box, you know, as a freezer.
Yes.
And the refrigerator was hooked up to a meter box where you had to put quarters, and I'd never heard of a meter box for a refrigerator. I'm like, why didn't y'all just plug it in the wall? It was like, it wasn't like that. You know. And so we were just cracking up with all of these stories, and that's when the concept came, generations, and we're just eating the homemade breakfast and doing what every family really does, but through the lens of the Black American experience, because that's who we are. We're African Americans. So there's certainly those experiences and truths that are germane to our experience in this country on that album. But there's also so many themes that anyone can relate to, regardless of, you know, where you're from or what your cultural experiences, because it's all human lived experiences.
And I think that's why we swing, right?
Brother, come on now. You starting trouble now. You're starting trouble with.
But
Yeah.
the cipher, is that the hip hop in you?
Yes.
What was it?
Well, these Negroes,
And I'm gonna tell you can keep going down a list with the tunes, because I'm gonna tell you this. Gene and I have been talking about this, like we've been doing a lot of great, amazing interviews, but we've been waiting on the interview that really digs into the music, that really goes into the story. And I have to say this, you're one of the first, probably the first that really went.
Wow.
Like we've been waiting on this and been trying to figure out we was like, man, do we need to go and will we talk about the album? Because we were hoping, we've been waiting on this. So you going down the list and hearing your perspective, you just don't know. That's why we just sitting here quiet. I'm like, just keep talking. I'm like, just keep talking. I already got thoughts in my mind already. I'm like, okay, we're gonna end up taking this to just keep going. Amen.
What?
This is so good. It's so good. You said, because see, from our perspective, I just have to interject, because culture is a thing. It's a whole thing. And it's like, there's so many, again, it's the concepts anybody can relate to: life, family, culture, community, faith. But inside, going deeply into it, the lyrical content and the cultural context, it's like there's certain things that you're gonna get. The cipher, you already know what that is. It's like the lyrics to We Swing, or Do You Remember This? I'm not going to do the interview, but you get it. When you hear that, you like, oh yeah, that speaks to you culturally, because you just can relate. You being from St. Louis, me being from Jersey, people being from LA, from Chicago, from New York, from Atlanta, wherever. It's like Detroit, you know, it's certain things. When I talk about Sunday morning church with the press and curl, brother suited all down, trying to impress that girl. You already know what that is. My brain is in the 80s, brother with a curl and a gold tooth, like ching. Yeah, what's up, lady? The Sunday morning with the press and curl. Every doggone Saturday night, my mom was having me by that stove, pressing my hair, and me, mama. You already know what that is. You know what I'm saying?
I hated it.
Right.
Oh, I was tender-headed.
I'm so tender-headed. I'm still tender-headed. Ooh, that's why I'm all kinked up now.
Marcus said, how can you be tender-headed and hard-headed at the same time?
Come on, somebody. You better preach. Come on. Preach, DJ. Bishop G.Wiz just preached the word. Come on, somebody. Come on.
A hard head makes a soft behind.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
my whole childhood.
Oh my gosh. Nah, I had to throw that. I'm sorry.
It's so true. I was hard-headed too.
Yeah.
So man, thank you for that, because I listen to a lot of interviews and people say the same thing over and over, and I'll be thinking artists get tired of answering the same question, especially when they got a project out.
Come on.
They
now.
really want to do the interview because they want to talk about the new project.
Yes.
And not just scan over it, but did you actually listen to the whole thing, or you just picked a couple of songs and you want to talk about them? So I tried to go in, that's why I purchased it, so I can be ready for this.
I gotta ask you a question though. What did you think about Only Believe?
Well, that's the last one I got on here with Jameson Ross.
Yeah.
I got my list right here.
Okay, you go ahead.
Right. We ain't trying to rush you through it now.
Yeah.
We're enjoying
Let him take his time. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time.
No.
Pastor Wiz, Bishop Wiz.
Oh
yes.
My God. No, Only Believe is on. See, and I was trying to figure out, okay, which songs am I going to play when I do this interview on the air? But I know Striving. I'm thinking Black Boy, but the rest, Only Believe, Walk On By, We Swing, Love Makes Me Sing, Happy to Be With You. I'm gonna have to flip coins, or
I just want the CD.
I ain't care. I'm like, they from St. Louis. He from St. Louis. They've been married 20 years, and every time I see y'all in the picture, y'all like happy and just love. I'm like, I'm supporting this dude. And they say they're gonna do an interview. It's like, it would be disrespectful not to buy their product.
Wow.
And
thank you.
On top of that, I'm gonna tell you the other reason why. Because you released it on your own label. So you need you need that support. So it's like, I know what that's all about. So I'm like, I'm buying it. I am not asking nobody for it. I'm just gonna buy it.
I'm supposed to. I'm going on the website and buy it myself. How about that?
Thank you.
Thank
y'all. Thank y'all. Y'all just get it. I'm telling you, we put so much into this project. We really did. And as creatives with our own indie label, it's like technically the music is the easy part because that's what we do, but it still requires a lot of work. And when we were done with this album, that's why when he came with that last one, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Because this one we did string arrangements, horn arrangements. It was just a lot. And it was like, we would do a song and then Marcus would say, oh, I'm hearing strings. And I'm like, how are we going to pay for strings? And we were able to go on and do it with the help of a lot of amazing musicians and arrangers. But this is definitely a labor of love. Mm-hmm. And then now we're like, all right, now we got to get into marketing, head frame and all that. But it's so refreshing when people get it, really listen to it, just give it a chance and listen and really get it. And this album is pure culture. It's pure jazz. It's pure culture. And like We Swing, oh my God, that was definitely the hip hop influence because we're now in the space where, we're starting to do shows and stuff. And we're like, all right, this has got to swing like this. And that started at a sound check. We were in California in beautiful Half Moon Bay, this space like maybe an hour north of San Francisco area. and it's right by the shoreline. And there's a venue out there, and Eric Reed was on piano, Desron Douglas was on bass, Keith Loftus was on horn, and we were there in sound check. And Eric Reed just starts playing this, and then everybody starts playing along. And we're like, man, this sounds good. And I had my phone, and I'm like, yo, I got an idea. But it was jazz, but in my brain, it registered as hip hop. And so that's how I wrote the flow. You know, and then the lyrics, like Jasmia, her line is one of my favorite. Why do we swing so hard? It's just the cycle of life. It's how we all, through all the ups and downs, got us spinning around. We could reach and touch the sky with our feet standing on the ground. From the rhythm of the bush to the soul of the street, we be tap dancing on your head and break dance like it's B Street. That's how we swing. And it's like, to me, it's hit. Now, I am no kind of rapper, but.
That's why she rapped.
Right.
Well, that's why she swung it like that. Man, but what you was doing, you made your voice an instrument in that cipher.
Yes. And me and Jasmine and Diane just kind of sewn. We didn't even know how it was going to end up. I just knew I wanted 3 different jazz singers from 3 different generations for the concept of the record to sing the song. And those were my 2 top people. I was like, if I could have who I want, it would be Diane Reeves and Jasmine Horn. I said, well, let's see. The worst they can say is no. And when they said yes, we're like, ah!
And you got to check out Jasmine Horn. She's like a sensation that's bursting on the scene. The sisters from Dallas. But when you talk about like just make the music, like she just so culture relevant. She fly with her style, her vibe. I mean, she is the truth. I mean, when I say the truth, like, yeah. And then we talked about Jameson Ross, another brother. Now this brother plays the drums at his show with his band and sings at the same time, but you still feel like, is this brother standing? Like it's like this brother it's insane, but it's all music that we can relate to. You're gonna be like, oh man, so I love what you all are doing, because it's like our music as a culture needs an outlet for people to be more exposed to it than just, because I was just saying this to Gene today. I feel like although music, art, and culture is all blended, but I feel like with us as a people right now, I feel like the music is intertwined with gossip. The gossip then you got, but it's no longer, to me, it's just like, man, where is the music outlets for people to just say, man, let me just take a break from life and let me just turn on the radio, or let me find an outlet that I can just listen to some music, our music as a people, and just be able to enjoy it without all the who's been with who's doing this, who did, you know what I mean? It's just like, man, people have issues, of course, but at the same time, let's just get back to focusing on the music. Let's hear what you're dealing with in life through music, instead of me reading about it on the news. Put it in your music there.
I'm putting y'all in my rotation for 2 reasons.
Thank you.
I like more than one song on the CD, and I like y'all.
Oh.
Y'all are cool.
Thank you. We're going to take y'all out to McDonald's. When we come back.
Oh, no. Is a show going on?
No. We going to that White Castle. No, we going to that White Castles on Kings Highway.
Instead of feeding me, just take my name down, TheOriginalG.Wiz. So when you get that platinum album, then I can be sitting on the front waiting on the mailman, so I can hang something else on the wall.
Oh man,
you got it.
That's what
I accept one. I don't have one, but I'll take one.
Yes. Oh, thank you, man.
You got it. You got it.
And how can the people keep up with you, social media, and also get your music like me?
Go to theBaylorProject.com, and we are on Instagram as The Baylor Project, or Twitter, The Baylor Project, Facebook, The Baylor Project, or, just make it simple, or go to our website, thebaylorproject.com, and our music is on It's not streaming, but you can buy it as a digital download on iTunes and Amazon. Or if you want an autographed CD copy, just go to our website and we got you covered. And we even got some merch t-shirts too. Yeah.
I
Some
need
merch
one of them.
t-shirts
I need
and
Yeah.
that you can get on our website as well. So we just, we keep it, it's a blessing to keep it going and just excited. We're excited to get back out on the road and just do it safely. And we're gonna have a good time, and we've been wearing our mask while traveling and being safe. Yeah. And so we'll be in St. Louis. The show is at 4:00. Yeah, 4:00, September 11th at the Sheldon Concert Hall. And we are excited. And shout out to St. Louis. There's so many people that I can name that was a part of my journey that that I send a shout out to. You know what? I'm gonna shout out to the Bosman twins.
Yeah.
Shout out to P. Ty Williams.
Yeah.
Shout out to Willie Aikens. Shout out to John Norman. Shout out to Denise Times. Come on, I'm still St. Louis. Although I've been going from St. Louis since 95, I'm still St. Louis. All my family there and all those people I named, man, that's St. Louis royalty and just family and so much talent, and still more talent is coming out today. And I just hope that I can be an inspiration for those people that come from St. Louis, that you can do it on whatever level you want and still be able to come back home. And man, that's St. Louis. That's everything. That's home. Area code 314 or area code, let me see, hold on, man, what is East St. Louis? Hold on, I'm trying to figure. It starts with a 618. That's right. Because I'm about to mess up because I was about to say 617, but that's Boston. But I know, 618.
You heard that?
Hey, and then I'm 314, but I know they got some new area codes that they be running out at home. But I know 314. Yes.
Okay.
Y'all crazy.
Yeah, funny.
You heard that? St. Louis and East St. Louis.
Yes.
Home of the, thank you, Gene Baylor.
That's
Thank
right.
you, Marcus Baylor. The Baylor Project. Right here, I'm telling you, they're just a lovely couple. You just got to see them do their thing. Them and the other, 5 members of the group that, and they do their thing.
How did you like 2020?
2020.
The song
2020 is not on my list.
Oh,
2020 is not on my list.
It didn't make it.
It didn't make the list. What?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of them on my list.
Listen to that when you get a chance. I don't think that's one you would play on the radio because it's a whole saga. But just for your personal.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just say it starts out with an original Negro spiritual.
That I did hear that.
I
did hear that.
Good.
Because it was like, I started thinking slavery.
And he was like, you know what?
And then,
like, yo, this is too much for me right now. I feel you, bro.
And then I do remember hearing that one. Yeah, because it was real dark and things moving and
You started seeing trees whistling and Harriet running through. Old man on the horse.
Yeah, I thought I heard the name Harriet run. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dogs barking. No, I'm just playing. But
hey,
but you're right. I did hear that one. I did hear that.
Oh,
one.
it was. Oh God! And when we first did it, I wanted to. He said we need a name for it, and I said, all right. And I wanted to call it Trauma. And Marcus was like, you can't call no song Trauma. I said, but we are a little bit traumatized. So he said, you can't leave nobody there. What if they listen to it and they already dealing with something and they listen to this song, you're going to call it Trauma? I'm like, all right, fine. And that's when I decided to call it, I said 2020. But it was in 2019. What you talking about?
Bingo. I think that's what happened now. Because I was listening and you're right. I heard that and it was sounding dark and deep and depressing. And I moved on. I think that's what happened.
I just told you.
It's like I was I was like, wait a minute.
Tears.
I went from striving to happy to love and swinging, and then it got dark.
Real dog.
It was like, yo, and we tried to do our best to place that, but we was like, yo, when we place this one, we gotta put some, whatever we put
A
out there.
pickup. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, yo, you can't leave folks there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
No, I
God,
kept going. I didn't stop. I mean, you know,
Oh,
I
that was
let
so
it play
funny.
through,
Oh,
but
that's
I didn't
funny.
go back.
Yeah,
you
right.
know.
You like that song? I heard it once.
Yeah, I
and
was
that's all
free, so I
needed.
didn't go back.
He said, I'm free, so I got it.
Oh boy.
I'm hollering. So like, Lady Jock is like, what am I about to hear?
That's all right. If he say skip it, I'm gonna have to skip it too then.
No, you
gotta
might.
hear
It
one
might.
time.
It might work though.
It might work for me.
It might work for.
me.
It might work for either of us because
Oh God, that's so funny.
it's not art. Is not for everybody. You know, and it may fit somebody moment at the time.
Right.
But it just didn't mind because I was going through the entire project.
Oh God.
And so it's like,
You
okay,
said,
I heard it. Now I'm gonna go to
I'm
the
gonna
next
go
one.
keep on moving. You said, how we gonna get from striving feeling all good, right? All good. And then you just took me back to the fields.
Why is he crying?
That's so funny.
Tears of joy.
Yes.
That is the funniest commentary on that song. Because usually be all serious. And you're like, I'm free. I had to keep going.
Yeah.
So good.
It's just happy. It's just we happy.
I'm sorry.
No, don't. It's so good. This is too good. Oh, that's good. I love it. Oh,
But
God.
at least I
It's so
listened.
funny. You did. No, you did.
You did.
I love it because it's so heavy. It's when we recorded, it was already very heavy, but particularly the introduction as well, like the. But it was like, golly, how do we get here? But then when we sent it off to get mixed, the engineer, he's in Los Angeles and he's amazing, and he works on all kinds of projects. He works on films, he works on music, all sorts of things. So he has a very broad range of how he may approach certain songs. And so for that one, we didn't really tell. We were like, well, you know, this is kind of like, you know, but he has such a broad range. We didn't really tell him what to do. So when he put this effect on it and it came back, I was like, oh God, I'm getting triggered. I was like, ooh, turn that off for me. I was like, oh God. It was like, ooh, we want to keep that like this.
We like, are we watching Lovecraft?
I was like, I don't know if I feel like I'm in Roots. And then the strings didn't come until, like, it was mixed last, but the strings came later. So he really put them root strings on it. I was like,
Wasn't no strings on Black 2020?
No, Black Boy. Oh, 2020. I'm sorry. I don't want the Black Boy, but no, 2020. Yeah, the I was like, oh my God. But he put that mix on thing, and I was like, oh, I'm looking over my shoulder, making sure ain't nobody coming for me. Some people in another culture are gonna understand the reference, but they're not going to understand that feeling. And this is generations later. That's how deep it runs. Where it's like you hear something, you like, woo, you know what I mean? Have a chill mode. It was so good talking to y'all, man.
Yes.
This is
Thank
it
y'all.
feels like home.
So, sending my love to you.
Uh-oh.
I don't know the rest of them.
Oh, the first line. Sending my love to you, baby. I'm waiting. Wait a minute. Praying that you come home when you love me, sealing it. That's right. With a kiss, sending my love. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And y'all have a good evening and
You too.
take her to McDonald's. All right.
All right.